Hello there, happy Money Monday, and welcome back to another episode of the Empowered and Abundant podcast. This week, I'm going to be talking about a specific money mindset that's super subtle and is often there all the time for most people, but it makes a really big difference in the way you think about money, the way you feel about money, and therefore the way that you live your life, the way that you show up in the world, the way that you run your business, if you're an entrepreneur and a business owner, and shifting this one money mindset, having this one perspective shift around money is going to change everything for you. So I'm going to talk about what this money mindset is, how to shift it, how to have a new perspective. And on top of that, I'm going to talk about how this money mindset shows up specifically and impacts the different money mindset types. So if you don't know, I have created a free quiz to discover your money mindset type. And there are 3 primary money mindset types. And this specific money belief, money story that we're going to be talking about today, it shows up differently for the different money mindset types. This quiz is super quick. It'll only take you 2 minutes. It's free. It's easy. It's fun. And when you take the quiz, you get your results with so much information about your specific money mindset type. Plus, you get tips and tricks for how to work with your unique specific money mindset type to step into more abundance. Because the problem that I see most people facing is they're trying different money manifestation techniques and tricks for trying to get ahead and create more abundance and create more money. But depending on your money mindset type, you have a different starting point. And there's going to be different techniques and tools and tricks that work best for you and your money mindset type. So this is why the quiz is not only valuable to determine what is your money mindset type, but to also know how to work specifically with your money mindset type to find more abundance. So if you haven't taken the quiz, go ahead and take it now or at the end of this podcast, but it'll be super quick. It only takes 2 minutes. You can go to my website, thebizhippie.com/quiz, and that link is in the show notes below. So go ahead and do that. You do not want to miss out on that. And then without further ado, let's talk about the specific money mindset that when you make this shift, it will change everything for you. And when I talk about money mindsets, what I'm talking about is a specific thought, belief, and feeling that we have about money, ourselves, and the world. And this is just something that's running in the background subconsciously all the time. We often don't even realize that it's there. We don't realize that it's present. We don't realize that we have this perspective, this belief, and that we're running our lives and living our lives from this perspective, which is why bringing awareness to our mindset and our relationship with money is so powerful, because it's like we're living in this bubble and we don't realize we're living in this bubble, and we have this small perspective. And then when we start to see our mindset around money, we're putting cracks into this bubble until eventually now we have some space, we can break through it, we can shift it, we can change it, and now we can open up to a whole world of possibilities that we didn't know were there before. So the specific mindset that I notice most people have about money, and even I had this too, is essentially, I don't want to spend money, or spending money is bad. I don't want to spend money, or spending money is bad. And this can show up in a lot of different ways for a lot of different people. So let's talk about the different money mindset types and how it can show up depending on your money mindset type. And if you haven't taken the quiz yet, that's okay. You'll still get a lot out of this if you don't know, but also go ahead and pause and find out your money mindset type. You're going to get more out of this episode if you do know. So if you are the volatile visionary, if that is your money mindset type, then how I usually see this belief, this mindset showing up is there's something that I want. There's something that I'm excited about. there's something that I desire. Let's just say, for example, you really want to go on a trip. Maybe it's a retreat, maybe it's a vacation, maybe it's a big investment in your business. There's something that you desire and you're excited about it. And typically, you say yes to that thing. You find a way to say yes to it, and you're excited about that thing. It feels right, it feels in alignment. But under the surface and on the flip side of that, there is this feeling of guilt, this feeling of maybe even dread, this feeling of, ooh, I really want this, but I think I'm doing something wrong. I should be more responsible with my money. And even though I can tap into this energy of like, I'm so excited for this thing, I'm ready, it's going to be so great. At the same time, there's also this feeling of like deep guilt, deep I should be more responsible with my money. And therefore, even though you're excited about this thing and investing in this thing, there's this undercurrent of I am doing something wrong by spending this money. And the problem with this is that it changes your beliefs about yourself. It's really hard to be deeply self-confident, to have a deep sense of self-trust when under the surface, anytime you actually do spend money on things like this, but you have this sense of guilt and I am not being responsible under the surface, then every time you spend that money, what you're affirming is that I'm not a responsible person. I can't trust myself. I can't trust myself with money. Can't trust myself to make aligned, responsible decisions. Right? And when you have that belief under the surface, how does that change how you feel about yourself and as a result, how you live your life? Especially if you're a business owner, if you're lacking a sense of self-trust and self-responsibility, it's going to change the way that you show up in your business. This could cause you to, yes, you spent the money, maybe you don't fully enjoy the thing that you spent the money on because in the background you have this sense of guilt. So maybe you're on the vacation and you're like enjoying the vacation, but then there's this other part of you that's still kind of like, oh, I shouldn't have spent this money. Did I make the right choice? So you can't even fully get the benefits of the original investment that you made in the first place. You can't fully allow yourself to be there. Maybe it was a big business investment, but then by making this decision and having this guilt under the surface, you're affirming that you're not responsible, and that could change the way you show up in the investment. Maybe you don't follow through. You don't go all the way to the end. You don't fully get the value that you're investing in and the value that you're paying for. This could also show up as being a little like flaky in your business, making aligned decisions and then pulling back and like ghosting, taking action consistently, having these big plans and moving forward for a while and then pulling back entirely, feeling burnt out, exhausted, confused, not knowing what to do. These are the types of patterns that show up for the volatile visionary because even though you're excited to spend the money, if you have the belief that I shouldn't spend money, spending money's bad, I don't want to spend money, then all of this counteracts the initial excitement that you have towards the original investment in the first place. And whether this is something that shows up very presently, right? I think there's some people where it feels like a 50-50 battle, right? There's part of you that's really excited and feels all in, and then there's this other 50% of you that's like very on the surface and feels stressed out and feels guilty and feels like you're doing something wrong. And it feels like those two parts are in conflict. That can be a really challenging place to be in, and it prevents you from actually receiving the benefits of what you're spending your money on and enjoying your life. But it could also show up subtly. It could be that a majority of your conscious mind is excited and ready, and you're in the excitement. You're happy that you spent the money, but then there's this feeling under the surface of spending money is bad or wrong, and this is irresponsible of me to spend this money. If anything, this can actually be a little more, I'm going to say, dangerous because you don't realize that this underlying guilt is here, and therefore you can't see the underlying conflicts that arise, the underlying deeper beliefs of what you're making it mean about you, the fact that you have this belief that spending money is bad or wrong or you're irresponsible, but then you are spending the money anyway. The problem is even if this guilt or lack of responsibility, these feelings, this belief, even if it's not present and it's under the surface, it's still going to show up for you. Often, this is where self-sabotage comes in. Going back to the example of making a big investment in your business, going all in at the beginning, and then falling off the wagon and abandoning it and not going all the way to the end. You might be like, what? I don't understand why this is happening. I was so excited. Like, stuff just got in the way. Life got in the way. I got busy. I got overwhelmed. There's nothing I could do about it. All these circumstances just popped up out of the blue. It was completely out of my control, right? That's these under the surface subconscious beliefs coming up, rising to the surface, and self-sabotaging yourself. Okay, so this is really important. It comes back to this one belief, this one perspective of spending money is bad or I don't want to spend money, but the potential ripple effect of that and the results can be massive, especially when you're the volatile visionary and you have these very conflicting perspectives. One part of you that really does want to spend the money and is excited for the thing that you're spending money on, and this other part of you that thinks, wow, I'm really doing a bad thing by saying yes to this. Okay, so that's how this shows up for the volatile visionary. Now let's talk about the relentless reacher. This is another mindset type, and it shows up similar in some ways, but also different. Now, depending on what your money mindset type is, if you've already taken the quiz and you might resonate with a different one than your actual type. Like maybe you resonate more with what I'm saying about the volatile visionary, even if you're a relentless reacher. That's normal because there are multiple components to the quiz and you can be more like volatile visionary leaning in some areas, even though you have a relentless reacher perspective. So just take whatever resonates with you the most. But for the most part, what I commonly see is what I'm talking about here today. And for the most part, that lines up with the different money mindset types. So how the same thought and belief and mindset can show up for the relentless reacher is a little different. Because the relentless reacher can also have the thought of, I don't want to spend money or spending money is bad. But typically what happens is the relentless reacher is a little more likely to listen to that belief, listen to that thought, and lean more on the side of being responsible and doing the right thing based on this belief of spending money is bad. And instead I should like hold on to my money or save my money, or I shouldn't be splurging and getting nice things that I want. And so typically the relentless reacher will have a desire for something you want to spend money on. Maybe it's a vacation, maybe it's just like nice things, a few like shopping items that would be really nice that you've put off and haven't gotten for a long time. Or it could be an investment in your business where someone presents you with something and you're like, ooh, this seems like it could be a good thing. But the relentless reacher will have this voice that says, I shouldn't be spending money is bad, and therefore I shouldn't spend money on this. And so the relentless reacher is so much more likely to actually ignore their desires, which in some ways, yes, can be responsible, but at the same time also causes another form of inner conflict. Because when you go to the extreme end of this, it causes the relentless reacher life to feel exhausting and boring. And what is the frickin' point if I'm over here working so hard, making so much money, trying to get ahead, and it still feels like it's never enough, and it still feels like I can't actually enjoy my life, say yes to the things I want, and do the things I want to do, then what is the point? And this is why it can feel exhausting and can push relentless reachers to burn out. And then when you do finally spend that money on that thing that you want, it can also create a sense of guilt and dread. And did I do something wrong? And I should have used this money differently. The difference often, though, for the relentless reacher is I find that this perspective around money is a little more analytical versus the volatile visionary is more emotional. So the volatile visionary, they're like, I want this thing, and they listen to their heart and they say yes to it, but then there's this like guilt under the surface emotionally. The relentless reacher will generally say no to the thing because spending money is bad and they don't want to be irresponsible. But then when they do say yes to the thing, then there's a mental battle. Then there is a mental conflict where it's like, oh, I should have done it differently. Should have, would have, could have. And then you get in this spiral of, oh, had I done things differently, and having regret around it, wishing that things could be better. Another way that this can commonly show up is this feeling of I shouldn't have to spend money at all, or it's bad or wrong that I have to spend money at all, whether it's on something good that I want or something that I just have to spend money on, like utilities and bills and rent and gas for the car and car repairs. This same thought of I don't want to spend money or spending money is bad can show up around those things too. And so, especially for the relentless reacher, although I do think that this shows up for both mindset types, there's this feeling of every time you're paying your bills, every time you are doing the responsible thing that you think you should be doing, there's still this feeling of oh my gosh, dread, there's more money coming out of my account. Darn it. Why can't I ever get ahead? Why is this money always coming out of my account no matter how hard I try? Why do I have to keep paying for these car repairs? Something must be wrong. Something is bad. I'm doing something wrong. Something's not working, right? And this all comes down to this one subtle yet very big and important thought of spending money is bad or wrong and I don't want to have to spend it. This creates a general sense of dread simply around living. Because the truth is that whether you're a volatile visionary or a relentless reacher, we all live in a world where we have to spend money, and we spend money on the daily in order to survive and function and live our lives. And so what impact does it have on you, especially if you're a very logical, relentless reacher, to be in this constant state of I'm doing something wrong, I'm doing something wrong every single day simply by living your life and simply by spending money? How does that affect the way you feel about your life, the way you think about yourself when you believe that every single day you're doing something wrong, you can't get ahead? How does that impact you when you hold yourself back from saying yes to the things that you want, and yet even when you do that, it's still never enough? Because you're still spending money and therefore you're still doing something wrong. It's a hard place to be. This creates what I call the hustle hamster wheel of I'm running, I'm hoping that I'm just going to get more money, and someday when I get more money, I feel better, I'll feel different, and all these feelings will go away. Unfortunately, that's rarely the case, and this is why you can feel exhausted and burnt out, is because it's this belief of spending money is bad. But the truth is, as you get more and more money, you're still going to be spending money. If anything, you're actually going to spend more money. This is why so many people get more money and actually feel just as stressed, if not even more stressed out around money. And this is especially true when you have a relentless reacher mindset and you hold yourself back from being able to have the things that you want in the first place because you believe it's wrong and irresponsible, and you listen to that voice. And then when you do say yes, oh my gosh, that's a big deal, because then you're going against the grain of your foundational beliefs and your foundational identity. So I think this is also similar to the volatile visionary, is sometimes it can be hard to actually enjoy the thing. Like, for example, when you do go on the vacation, you're like, ugh, I shouldn't have spent this money. And then you can't fully enjoy it. You can't fully reap the rewards or reap the benefits of it. Okay, this is important. This one mindset has a huge impact on the way you view yourself, the way you feel about spending money, the way you feel about your life. And it really bleeds into your ability to just spend money and not feel stressed out, not feel like you're a bad person, not feel like you're doing something wrong. And this is a big deal. And the problem is that this is simply a common belief that most people have and that we are taught. And it comes from a originally a good place, right? We're taught like we should save money, and that's the right thing to do. We should save our money and not spend it. And if you do, then you're doing something right and you're a good person. Now, in some ways, that's totally accurate and that makes sense. But I think our brain internalizes this and really turns up the dial on this, and therefore makes it mean that any spending of money is a bad thing. And in an ideal world, I should simply make money and have a bunch of money and never spend it, and then just be like sitting on this pile of cash forever and ever, and then life would be good. The problem with this is that it's an inaccurate perspective of life. In this life, we have to spend money. Now, there's some versions of reality where this isn't true. Like if you lived on property where you farmed all your own food and you were completely self-sustaining and you were completely off-grid and you like produced your own electricity, you composted, you gardened, you farmed, and you just completely lived off the land in a world before money, or you're living that life now. If that's you, good for you. Awesome. I love that. I think that's awesome. And I think it's possible to do that. But for the most of us, for the average human, that's not true. We have to spend money. We have to spend money on rent or your mortgage. We have to spend money on electricity. We have to spend money on water. We have to buy food. If you have a vehicle, you need to spend money on putting gas in that vehicle, repairing that vehicle. Or if you take public transportation, you need to pay for public transportation. If you have children, you need to pay for those children. You need to buy them clothes. You need to buy yourself clothes. There's regular like toiletries and things for the household that you need to buy regularly. And even if you're somebody who penny pinches, right? You go to thrift stores for clothes. You buy the most affordable food. You get things on sale. You don't splurge. The reality is money is still getting spent. Even homeless people spend money. That's why they beg in the streets for money, so that they can go buy food or buy whatever else they're buying. So no matter what, for the most part, 99% of people are spending money and spending money regularly. So when we have this foundational belief that spending money is wrong or bad, then that is constantly affirming every single day that anytime you spend $1 on anything, you are doing something wrong and bad, and therefore you are a bad person. But I think that this is just not true. Instead of thinking that spending money is bad, we need to see that spending money is the natural cycle and flow of life. You work and bring money in so that that money can be spent to live this life and create this life that you are living now. Instead of putting a blanket statement on it and affirming that spending money is evil and bad, instead we need to see this is the reality. Money is going to be spent, and if anything, it's not a bad thing, it's actually a good thing. Not only is it natural to spend money, it's how we actively create this life that we are living right now. And instead of feeling like I'm doing something wrong or bad, instead, I think we need to flip our perspective to be, I'm happy to spend this money. I'm excited to spend this money. I'm grateful that I get to spend this money, and bringing that into all things. Yes, the things that are fun and exciting and being like, woohoo, I'm so grateful and excited that I get to spend this money on this vacation, but also for the mundane things. Woohoo, I'm so happy and grateful and excited that I get to spend this money on my mortgage or my rent, on gas for my car, or food for my fridge. We need to feel like instead of this is a bad thing or a wrong thing, that this is exactly how it's supposed to go, and be grateful that we have the flow of money to bring these things into our life, to get to say yes to living in this place, that we get to put gas in our cars and therefore go places. We get to take care of our cars and therefore travel and go places. We get to buy clothes to put on our body that hopefully make us feel good about ourselves. We get to buy food to nourish ourselves and literally keep living. Okay? Like, we're going to be spending the money anyway, and the money is how we create this life. So why not feel good about it? Why not feel like it's the most natural thing in the world? And instead of having this feeling of dread around it, recognize money's being spent anyway. But what if you could feel solid and confident in every single choice that you're making? So, for example, for me, I go on a lot of retreats. That's my favorite form of travel. It's also been key to a lot of my personal growth and personal development. And it's been a significant part of my business growth and business development. So, when I travel and attend retreats, yes, on the one hand, it is kind of like a personal vacation, but it's also deep healing work and it's also business development work. So, for me, I really enjoy that. It checks all the boxes. So I'm going to Nicaragua at the end of May, and I look at that investment as opposed to being like, oh my gosh, I'm spending all this money and that's bad and I should have saved it and I should have done things differently. Instead, I'm like, I am so happy that I get to spend this money because since I'm spending this money, it means that I get to go to Nicaragua in May. And of course, I want to do that. So why would I assume that this is a negative thing? Loving spending money. Loving spending money because we do it every day. And what if you loved everything that you do spend money on? This is like something common that people say is be grateful for the things that you are saying yes to. I think it's that, but it's turning up the dial on that and habitually unwinding and dispelling this belief of spending money being evil and bad. Money is a never-ending cycle. Money is constantly flowing in. It is circulating into your life and then it is flowing out. It is circulating out. But when it goes out, it's going in to other people's lives and then it's going out of their lives and eventually coming back into yours. This is how the economy works. It is a constant flow of money. So not only is you spending money not bad, it's good for you because you're bringing in the things that create this life, the things that you want, the things that support you in living. But also it's good because it perpetuates the flow of the economy. You're sending and directing that money towards other people. You're putting it to other people's hands so that they can live their lives and say yes to what is most important to them and in alignment for them. And when they spend their money, it flows back to you. So it's not only important for your own life cycle, it's actually important for the world's life cycle and the way that we're currently operating. And so the simplest way to start doing this is every time you spend money, think of all the reasons why it's a good thing that you are spending that money, why it's something you can be grateful for and happy about, why you do want to spend money on this thing, and how you can enjoy not just the thing you're spending the money on, but actually enjoy the act of spending the money. And that's the key difference. I'm not just saying be grateful for the fact that you have gas in the car. I'm saying feel like it's good to spend the money on that. And can you bring awareness to the moments that you spend money in your day to day, whether it's spending a couple bucks on coffee, whether it's paying rent, or whether it's saying yes to something that you want and that you desire. Whatever it is, notice your thoughts, your feelings when you spend money. Is it coming from this place of, oh, this is bad, or I shouldn't be doing this, and I wish I didn't have to spend this money? Whether it's subtle or whether that's the prominent feeling. Notice that. And can you pause in that moment and take a deep breath, and before you hand over the credit card or click pay on the checkout screen, can you think, this is why it feels good to spend this money. This is why I'm grateful to spend this money. This is why it is a good thing that I am saying yes to flowing my money now out and in this direction. And this perspective will change everything. It will unwind these foundational beliefs that ripple out as a result of having this perspective. It'll change the way you view yourself. It'll change the way you view the world. And honestly, it'll change the energy behind the money that you're flowing out. And therefore, it'll change the way that you receive the things that you are bringing in. And most of all, it'll help you enjoy your life more. It will support this act of bringing gratitude into everything, every component of your life, everything you spend money on. And it'll change the way that you show up. It'll change the way that you live your life and the way that you feel when it comes to money. Now, there's an important caveat to this, and that is there's a next step. That next step is making sure that you are spending money in aligned ways. I'm not just saying, okay, start throwing money around and say that it's all good, because that's not really true either. We do need to balance responsibility and desire. We do need to be strategic with our money. We do need to be intentional with our money. Those are the steps that I teach in Empowered Abundance, and that's how you take this work to the next level. And that is important. But foundationally, recognizing that you're already spending money all the time. And if you're already spending money, whether it's actually aligned or not, whether it's actually helping you or not, the fact that you're spending it and you're spending it from this place of I'm doing something bad and wrong is not serving you. So that's something you can start now, is changing the way that you feel about all money that is spent. And when you start to get more intentional and strategic and conscious with how you spend your money, it's actually going to make it way easier to reverse this mindset, because then you can actually trust that you are making the aligned best decisions with your money. And that can help you to feel better about spending money when you're not just questioning if you're making the wrong choice all the time. And this is why Empowered Abundance is so powerful, because when you bring this level of care and intention into how you use your money strategically, it does deep work on shifting and changing this money mindset. Enrollment for the next round of Empowered Abundance is opening at the end of June, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Okay, so that's what I have for you today, is shifting this one perspective, this one money mindset of I don't want to spend money or spending money is bad, and seeing how this mindset is currently impacting you and the ripple effect of what shifting that mindset can do, especially for your unique money mindset type. And again, if you don't know your money mindset type, you're going to want to take the quiz and find out. You can take the quiz on my website, thebizhippie.com/quiz. The link is in the show notes below. Again, that is thebizhippie.com/quiz. It is free. It will take you 2 minutes. There are 7 short questions, and you're going to get so much great information as a result. It's really, really fun. People say to me all the time, like, oh my gosh, it feels like you're reading my mind when they read through the results. Have a great rest of your Money Monday, and I will see you next week.